All right, in this video, we're going to talk about your commander.
And unit leaders.
Yep. So, how do you find out what your commander is going to be? What you first go to is, do you want to play a tank? And this says battalion, but USA, it's company. So, do you want to play more tanks or more infantry? Basically, way to look at it. Which type of formation do you want? Then you look at the card number at the bottom. So if I wanted to play the tank one, here it is, and it says HQ up there. How do I find out which one is commander? Flip it to the back, and it tells you right there. With the Soviets, you get one tank, and that's your commander. And what many people will do for the commander, and also for your unit leader, we'll talk about, they a lot of times put a dude sticking up out of the hatch to show that this is the commander. That helps you understand which one's commander and your opponent. If you went with the mech one, it's on the back also. And this is interesting because you have a choice. So you're going to get one guy, one stand, but then do you want a BMP-1 or do you want the BMP-2? And there's a point difference. So you get a little choice with that one compared to the tank where you just get one choice. So on the USA side, same thing. So it's really simple. Do you want tank or mech? So if you go tank, go to the back. Now this one's a little different. This one you get a choice. Do you want one or two Abrams? And the important thing is with these, you have to pick which one is the leader.
Yeah.
Which of those two Abrams is your big leader?
When you deploy them.
Yeah, when you deploy them. And again, that helps with that guy out of the hatch. The other one is the mech. And unlike the Soviets, this is it. Yeah. So you get a man, and this is the vehicle you're getting with it. I do want to talk about mech in that these are transports. So you had that you can choose which one's the leader. You can think, oh, I'll just make the M113 my leader. No, it's a transport. You can't make your transport your leader out of that group. So you're stuck with that M11 or M16 rifle team as your leader for your formation.
And lastly, since it is one unit, they have to. Well, they don't have to go in one stay together, but if you split them up.
Okay, yeah, what he's talking about is if they have a transport, so we're going to go back.
Or the U.S. with two tanks.
Yeah, USA with two tanks. Very good. So this is my HQ, and this is their transport. In a normal game, the transports can run off. They get like, if they're out of formation, they get a +1 hit. And we'll go through those rules and everything. You want to talk about that? Yeah. What if this runs off and it's part of the HQ unit?
Yeah, it's because normal transports, they can act as their own independent unit.
Yeah, you're right, and they don't get the +1 to hit. They're their own separate unit. They don't have to stay with the men.
Yeah, this is one commander unit. So if you split them off, it'll be out of command, which we'll talk more about later.
Yeah,
and you get a penalty. And the same thing for the U.S. with their two Abrams.
Yep.
Because some people like to split them up, but if you do that, the second one is not going to be in command.
Yeah. So a very important thing to remember that, like what Arthur was talking about, is if this was a normal mech unit, these transports can run off by themselves. There's no penalty for them running off by themselves from their men. If it's part of the HQ unit and they leave, this is where you start getting, they're out of command. And you start getting some penalties, and we'll talk about that. All right, so next thing I want to talk about, and this be really quick, about multiple formations and kind of what is that. And so normally you think, do I want to buy a tank or infantry or mech? I keep saying infantry, but mech. There's a way you can buy both. Yeah. And you have to go buy the 0404. So then you go to your cards here. So here's both of them. Flip them to the back, and you have to go by this. You have to buy the HQ unit, and you have to buy 2 or 3 of those, as you normally would.
Yeah.
But you also have to do it the same for this mech unit. You have to buy the mech leader and 2 to 3 of the mech platoon.
Yeah. And this is assuming you buy 1 of each. You could also buy 2 tanks or 2 mechs.
Yeah.
Or however many combination you want.
Very good point. Yeah, you can go, I want 2 of these. So 1 of these and another 1 of these and 2 to 3 and 2 to 3. Then
you can fill it out.
Then 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to 1, and then you have the support.
Yeah. Also. But definitely want to mention multiple formations because it matters. Some little other stuff we're going to bring up later.
Yep. All right, another neat feature about the HQ unit, that's what I'm going to call it, the formation commander, is that he can join other units. But it's a temporary join. It's during the shooting phase, the movement phase, well, they call them steps, and the assault step. He can join any time in that, but there's a limitation. First of all, whoever he's going to join has to be within 6 inches of him. That's the first one. The second one is, can he see who he wants to join? So we kind of set up a little demo here, and obviously there's nothing he can join. So if he's getting shot at, he's taking all the hits. That's not a good thing. But let's say that that's there. There's a tank back there. I can see the barrel right there. Well, there's a thing called line of sight. And you basically take it. The only place they talk about line of sight is the shooting.
Yeah.
And they say, what was it? The weapon mount?
From the weapon mount, any base of the infantry team.
Okay. Well, we don't have an infantry team out there, so what they're talking about, the base, is this part here that they're standing on. Okay? So we take from the mount, and he can't see, there's no infantry out there, so there's no stand. What about a vehicle?
Any part on the tank team, except for weapons.
Oh, so we can't count the barrel. So, would he be able to join now?
He can see part of the main body of the tank, so it should be.
Yep. So if it's just the gun, no, can't join it. If he can see the main body, any part of the main body, he can join it. As I knock that down, as long as again it's within 6 inches and of line of sight. Now another stipulation is, if he's getting shot at, and the guy who's ever controlling this doesn't have him join, and the other person rolls to hit, and he goes, oh, he takes 3 hits. Oh, I'm going to have him join. Too late. It's before the dice are rolled. Now, if he joins during the shooting step, he stays with them the whole shooting step. If these guys are moving and he wants to move with them to give them, there's some special maneuvers to talk about. He gives them better skill rating. If he joins in a movement step, he has to stay with them the whole movement step. But once the movement step's over, he's by himself again. So he can run around by himself or join other units, but it's a temporary fix.
Yeah.
Line of sight within 6 inches.
Yep.
Oh, and if it's infantry team. Oh, let's talk about line of sight from infantry teams. It's anywhere on the base. You don't look at where the model's at. Because the way they figure is these guys are running around. So you can look, you can have this sitting. I'm going to move this back here. So there we see the stand, but we don't really see the guy, but we see part of the stand able to join. And if we're looking from them to this tank, from their stand to any part of the vehicle there, they can join.
Yeah. If within 6 inches.
Within 6 inches? Yep. All right. All right, another good point about why would you have your leader join another unit? One of the things is they could use the command's leadership. So I've got the card here for them. And the reason you'd want him possibly joining a unit is there's these special maneuvers we'll talk about, like going through terrain easier, getting to move after you shoot type thing. And we'll talk about that in movement. But you have a skill rating that you have to check on. And if the commander joins a unit for that step, whether movement, shooting, or assault, you get to use either his skill, so that would be right here, or his courage, which is here. So all that stuff's going to be up here. His courage, morale, counterattack, and rally ratings. That would be the mech people have a rally rating right there. Well,
But not the remount.
But not remount. Very good. Good point. So you're saying, oh, big deal. Well, let's look at the rating for a normal Abrams platoon. So, Courage 3, Courage 4. Well, this is a lot better. So using him to help them, now they only need to roll 3 hard instead of 4. Morale is better. Remount's the same. Of course, you can't use the remount. Skill is better. Assault's the same. Counterattack's better. So if you're wondering why would you have them join, well, there's some maneuvers where they get to shoot and move after they shoot. Well, if you get to use his rating instead of theirs, you have a better chance to do it.
Yep.
So again, that would be one of the reasons. Just remember, you get to use any of these up here except for remount and the rally number if you have an infantry.
No, you can use rally. You just can't use remount.
Oh, you're right. That is interesting.
Yeah. No.
See, I learned something. So I don't run very many men, so you do get to use the rally, you just can't use the remount.
Yeah.
Good point. All right, so now we got a problem. What happens if this is your formation commander, and I'm just going to remove that, and he gets destroyed? What can you do? Well, the first thing is, like the U.S. has, you have the choice of running 2. So let's pretend this is U.S. and they were running 2 tanks and they're by each other. Can this one now become your new HQ?
Yes, and it's automatic.
With stipulations. What's the rule about that?
You have to be within 6 inches.
Okay, so let's see. Is it within 6? Oh, definitely. So if this one happened to be like 7 inches away, can't do it. You've lost your formation commander. So if they're part of, and this is a lot to do with like the USA, where they have 2, and you're running 2, and they're by each other, your HQ gets destroyed, you can have this now. And this is the one with the man in it. That is now your new formation leader.
Yeah. And it's automatic, no roll.
Yep. Well, there could be other problems that could pop up. So let me get this set up. All right, so I should also say this only happens if it's like from shooting, artillery, or assault. So if he fails a morale check, this does not happen. He's gone. If he fails like if he joins a unit and they fail a morale, he's going to move off with them. So it's only like if he's attacked, basically. This will happen. You go with these rules.
Good point.
Now, what if he gets destroyed? So he got destroyed. He got hit. We're going to pretend like this is Abrams. The T-72 shot him. Boom, destroyed him. And there's not that other HQ, from his formation, it's not there. What happens?
It's more than 6 inches away.
Yep.
Or he's already dead.
Yep. So let's check.
Or you just Soviets.
All right. Yep. That is more than 7 inches away. It's part of the HQ unit. The HQ gets destroyed.
So
Formation commander. I guess I should say commander.
Yeah.
The commander gets destroyed.
His vehicle. So now you roll a die.
Okay.
On a 3+, your commander survive. Otherwise, your commander is killed.
All right. All right. So in this situation, we shouldn't even take this off. He may not be dead. So he got hit. He failed. Yeah. They made the firepower. He's the commander. This is part of his HQ unit. They're more than 6 inches away. So I have to roll a die. And what do I need to make on this?
3+.
So it's an infantry save, which we'll get to when we get to getting shooting and infantry. So 3+. So in this case, he lives. He's happy. Nothing happens. right?
Maybe. Well, he's going to jump into another vehicle.
Yes, which we'll talk about. So there's a chance he still survives.
Yeah.
Now, if I roll, oh, I did it, he's dead.
Yeah,
He's gone. He's gone from the game. So you also, remember, you only do this if he's attacked. So if it's a morale check or something like that, you don't do this check. All right. Let's get ready for our next situation. So now we're going to move on to where, yeah, they made that 3+ save. Are they still alive? And there's that possibility. So I'm going to take this off, and we're going to start with some infantry. So here's the infantry HQ. It gets its fells. It gets hit, and it makes its 3+ save.
Yeah.
What's the rule about keeping him in the game?
Okay, so, well, if he gets hit, he fails his infantry save, but makes his commander save.
Yep.
You check to see if there's a friendly infantry unit from his formation within 6 inches.
All right, not support. From formation?
Yeah, from formation. Not
Oh,
support.
important information here.
Yeah.
So, you can't use support for this.
Can't use support.
Okay, so let's look. Okay, both these, this is a different unit, so he's he's commander. He can join them or run away, but run by himself. So both those are within 6 inches.
Okay.
He failed his check for staying alive, but he made his commander check. So he's still there, but...
Okay, so, well, first he dies, so you remove him.
Yeah, we measured, so they're within
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
So I can take him off.
Okay, now you pick one of those guys, and he becomes a new commander.
Even
And
this big one?
Yep.
So I
and
can
you
just
swap them.
Or
Yeah.
there. Okay, so that's pretty simple. But what happens if it's this? The tank's within 6 inches.
Yep. You need an infantry team.
Okay, so infantry will not take over. Infantry commander will not take over a tank.
And tank commander won't
All right.
take over
Oh,
infantry.
we'll get to that. All right, so let's now throw out the tank gets hit, fells, they make their firepower, it's going to get blown up. Oh, he makes his commander save. This tank is not part of the HQ unit, otherwise it would be automatic. So this is part of another unit, and these men are part of another unit. So let's see. They're all within 6 inches. So he can then what?
He can't do anything with the infantry, but he can just drop into the other tank.
So what would happen is this one would get destroyed.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people will do is take the turret with the commander and put the new turret there to show that that one's the commander. Now, this tank is no longer part of that unit.
Yeah.
He's back to being the HQ.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to that situation. Okay, so he runs around the same type. What if he's around the artillery?
Yeah. There's always, every time it says tank commander and you can take over another tank team, always think actual tanks. But remember, the rules for a tank is pretty much any vehicle
That doesn't fly.
that doesn't fly.
Okay, so he could now. This would get destroyed, but I wouldn't throw that up there.
Yeah. But you can't just hop into that coordination. If that coordination is part of the formation. Because
Right.
Silvers could have it as
Oh.
part of your formation or support. If it's
Yep.
formation, he could jump in there. If it's
And-
support, he cannot.
Yeah, and how you find out again whether it's part of formation or support is you go back to your HQ card. So here's the HQ, and this is formation. So the carnation's on there right there. This card shows the support.
Yeah.
So he can't join any of these.
Nope.
So you got to be careful. You have two different carnations units because you can run a. Where are they at? There it is. Gosh, I'm like blind. So you can have a carnation there and a carnation here. If it's this one that's on the HQ card, you say like this is the one that's with the HQ. Fine. If it's this one, you can't join.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to have to keep track of
Yeah.
when I play the game.
Yeah,
If I'm running
take
two.
both. Yeah. Because it matters.
Okay. So he could not join these infantry.
Yeah.
Okay. And the same stipulation was that if we had that where he replaced this one, he's this is not part of that unit. He's
Yeah.
back to being HQ where he can go by himself.
Yeah.
So get that. Take care of that. So that is interesting that it has to be the same type he is, tank, if he's a tank. And that can mean these because that's vehicles that run on the ground, or infantry, and they have to be from formation.
Yeah. And if he takes over a different vehicle, the new vehicle, you use the new vehicle's card except for the skill, courage, morale, and counter rating.
Awesome.
So,
And another thing I want to talk about, if he got destroyed, this is the commander, his tank got destroyed 4 times, he only has to make that 1 3+ save
yeah.
to be able to do the switch. It doesn't
Yeah.
he has to do it 4 times. His tank gets destroyed 10 times, it's just that 1 3+ save.
Yeah. And through all this, if there's not a vehicle close enough to you to swap, he is dead.
Yes.
So
If it was this situation, and he gets, failed the firepower, it's possibly destroyed. Well, it is destroyed. Is he going to live? Well, even if he makes a 3+, there's no vehicles around, no tanks around, he's destroyed.
he's still dead.
All right. Well, the last thing we're going to talk about is if he gets bogged down. All right, the last deal for the formation commander is if he gets bogged down. And we'll get more into bogging down during movement, but it's like there's some certain types of terrain like woods that it may get stuck on a stump or something like that. So here's the commander. You can see him, he's sticking out there out of the turret, out of the hatch. He's going to try to cross these woods. If I roll, this is Soviet, so if I roll a 1 or 2, he's hit a stump or something and he's stuck. So I'm going to see how I do. Oh, he failed. All right, so he didn't make it, so we're going to mark it. He's bogged down, which means basically for the rest of the turn he does nothing. Well, he's special. So we're going to put this tank here, and this tank, remember tanks are vehicles basically that don't fly. What's the rule about if the commander gets bogged down, what can he do?
He can nominate another friendly tank team from his formation within 6 inches of within 6 inches, and that will be the new commander.
Okay, well let's check. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, yep, within 6, yep, within 6. So he can then jump over. So we're going to take this top off since it has the command. Oh, trees, that would help him. There we go. So it's basically switched like that. He's now commanding this tank. And this is now a tank that's part of the other formation. So this poor guy's, okay. Could he do it also with this carnation?
If it's part of the formation, yeah.
Yep, and again, we talked about that just a little while ago. So he's going to take over this carnation. I'm not going to switch to top, though.
Yeah.
However, this is an interesting situation, which you were talking about a little while ago. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. If he just takes over this one, that's not too bad. So I'm going to have the 2 cards up here. And basically, the HQ stuff remains the same. You're going to use his courage, his morale, skill, and counterattack, right?
Yep.
So if he takes over this tank, he's still at assault 5 and remount 3. So nothing's changed really there. This is where it could change. So now he's riding around in a carnation, so you have to use what's down here. This is the only part that's going to change. So courage, better courage. Morale, remount stayed the same. Skill, assault. So assault was better. He's lost a little bit with assault. And then the counterattack was, wow. Counterattack 3 compared to a 5. So out of this, which 2 does he not get? Was it skill and...
he keeps his own skill, courage, morale, and counterattack.
So the remount's going to be different?
Yeah.
And the assault. You have to take it off what vehicle he goes into. So he's lost in assault. Remount stays same, but I've seen some remounts that could be 4 or plus.
Yeah.
So So that's the special rules you have with your commander. If you like this video or other videos we've done, go ahead and subscribe and share with other people. And as always, have a good game.